Hi guys, welcome to Schooling. I welcome you for a session of economics today of Chapter 2 Indian Economy 1950 to 1990. Sorry I was little busy, I couldn't upload videos for the past 18 days. We were discussing about the problems of Indian agriculture. We will now discuss about the technical problems in that. For example, lack of irrigation facilities. Farmers are dependent always on monsoon showers as they do not have enough credit facilities. They are also unaware of the facilities extended by the government as they are illiterate. They are being exploited by the middlemen and the moneylenders. Moneylenders extend them with credit facilities immediately as they are known to them for a longer period of time as they reside in the same village. Whereas documentation in the banks for loans will take at least a month's time for processing, until then the farmer's plight will be in trouble. So they better go for the money lenders to take money as loan. Also they do not have the proper proof and forms that are required by the banks. So this avoids the farmers to take up loans and always they fall prey in the hands of the money lenders. Only the rich are benefited again and again as they are well educated and they have the knowledge about the know-how of the formalities and procedures by the banks. Always there is a wrong cropping pattern by the farmers. So farmers should get proper and timely advice from the expert panel from Agriculture Department to produce the correct crops at the correct time and weather reports issued from time to time. Also the produce depends on the texture of the soil. Soil samples could be sent to the experts to find out the alkalinity of the soil. Good varieties of seeds are given to the farmers at a subsidized rate along with the fertilizers and pesticides and insecticides by the government. So our farmers follow the outdated technique of production. Instead of the farmers adopting the age-old techniques of production, they can switch over to modern equipments, machineries for sowing, harvesting and threshing. They can use motors to fetch water for their crops. Many poor farmers are still dependent upon monsoon showers. Instead of that, they can avail loan for digging wells in their lands. They can consolidate their land holdings to make use of the sophisticated equipments. They can also compete with the rich farmers if they do so. They can pool in their produce in cooperatives. Reforms in Indian agriculture. Institutional reforms are also called land reforms. Abolition of intermediaries. Intermediary systems like the Zamindari system, Rayotwari and Mahalwari systems were abolished. Hence it brought some good changes and reforms in the agricultural sector. Even the poor people possessed land. The farmers were not tortured to pay high rents and cesses, taxes. They were no more dependent on the zamindars for getting farm works. Regulation of rent. Rent for the leased land was properly regulated. Consolidation of holdings. Small holdings of land were consolidated or summed up together for producing more benefits. Reforms in Indian agriculture. Sealing on land holdings. Land Sealing Act was brought in by the government to avoid land being held by few rich people alone. Like the zamindars had more concentration of the land only with their hands. This made the possibility of even the poor people to have equal distribution of land. Cooperative farming. This avoided farmers being exploited by the middlemen like the money lenders. All the produce were sold at the same rate so that uniformity of the pricing was there for the produce to the people in the markets, and the farmers had an opportunity of availing loans through their respective cooperatives like weavers cooperatives, dairy cooperatives, etc. So when we talk about the general reforms, we talk about the expansion of irrigation facilities. Facilities like providing bore wells and motors to the farmers enabled them to concentrate and produce more crops rather than being dependent upon monsoon showers. Provision of credit. Extension of credit facilities to all strata of the society, particularly to the farmers, enable them to secure their lives and their family. rather than depending upon the middlemen and the moneylenders of very big farmers where they are being exploited, or they work for their farmlands, or they have to sell off their part of the land to repay the loan, or they have to fall in debt traps. If they are unable to come out of all these misfortunes, then farmers commit suicide. Regulated markets and cooperative marketing societies. This helps them to be united and the uniformity of prices maintained. They are free from exploitation by the middlemen in the market. No one compels them that the produce from the land to be sold to them at a cheaper cost. So they are being exploited double the way, one by increasing the interest a lot amount than the banks, the other one they have to be selling their produce only to the money lenders so as they do not escape away from the loan. It has to be repaid in that way. Support price policy. Our government extends support price, minimum support price, MSP, for the produce produced by the farmers. Technical reforms or green revolution. Use of HYV seeds. Mr. M.S. Swaminathan is the father of green revolution in India, who introduced the high yield variety of seeds. Norman Borlaug is known as the father of green revolution in the world. It is particularly for rice and wheat which made us self-sufficient during the 1960s and 70s rather than we depending upon other foreign countries, mainly USA, for our food needs. We had experienced severe famines, notably the Bengal famine, which killed several people. What is green revolution? Great increase in the production of food grains, especially wheat and rice, that resulted in large part from the introduction into developing countries of new high yield varieties beginning in the mid 20th century. Its early dramatic successes were in Mexico and the Indian subcontinent. In 1960s, Green Revolution had allowed India to overcome food deficit by raising food grains production by using high yield variety of seeds. So what was the plight of India before Green Revolution? Before the Green Revolution, India was not able to produce enough crops to feed its growing population. Demands were more. There were age-old methods of farming. So the older methods of farming could not produce more sufficient crops. During the Green Revolution, irrigation facilities were provided to many farmers. Since rice and wheat were the staple diet of Indians, Green Revolution focused on both these crops. Before the advent of Green Revolution, India and Pakistan suffered out of hunger. We were under the colonization of the Britishers, where they did not take care of the Indians or the growth or for food needs. Drought and political turmoil were the main reasons. Over 100 million people were hungry. I want you people to refer livinghistoryfarm.org. Technical reforms or green revolution. If you see the benefits of use of chemical fertilizers, it made it possible with extra nutrients and therefore increased the yield. The newly developed synthetic herbicides and pesticides controlled the weeds, deterred or killed insects and prevented the diseases, which also resulted in higher productivity. Higher yield enabled the farmers to sell the surplus food in the markets and earn more. Pesticides and insecticides are able to protect the crops from pests and insects. Technical reforms or green revolution. Now we will see the disadvantages. As high yield variety of seeds are used, it needs more chemical fertilizers to produce 3-fold times of the produce than the normal seeds. But it affects our ecology and our water table. Though it helps in producing more crops, it also damages our soil fertility. Soil becomes more acidic in nature. Use of such chemicals leads to destruction of marine life. Chemicals keep stagnating and they percolate through the soil into the water table. Thus, water becomes contaminated and polluted. That is not good for the health for humans as well as the cattle to consume. The same cattle is being slaughtered and consumed by the mankind, which is still poisonous. So the disadvantages of green revolution are it was not successful in rain-fed areas. The use of chemical fertilizers caused erosion and pollution and loss of genetic diversity. Technical reforms or green revolution, use of insecticides and pesticides for crop protection. We are scientifically and technologically advanced that we are able to protect our crops from insects and pests. Scientific rotation of crops. Now our farmers are being advised by the experts to make out crops in a different pattern to enhance the productivity. Modernized means of cultivation. Rather than depending on the age-old cultivation techniques, slowly our farmers are adopting to the modernized techniques of cultivation by usage of HYV seeds or machineries for threshing, harvesting, etc. Now let us have a look at the achievements of Green Revolution. Rise in production and productivity. Green Revolution has enabled our farmers to produce more crops by using HYV seeds in the most fertile areas. Increase in income. Thereby it has increased the income of the farmers by producing more crops. So the marketable surplus has come. More of the crops are being sold in the markets after usage by the farmers for their families. Rise in commercial farming. Instead of subsistence farming, now our farmers are practicing commercial farming, thereby raising their standards to compete with the global market. So the other achievements of Green Revolution, impact on social revolution, use of new technology, HYV seeds, fertilizers, etc. Society has been revolutionized or changed by the usage of HYV seeds and fertilizers. Increase in employment. There is a gradual rise in employment patterns, primary sector as well as the secondary sector due to the usage of modern techniques. Substantial rise in acreage. Area under cultivation has increased, thus increasing the production of food crops. As a result of the Green Revolution and the introduction of chemical fertilizers, synthetic herbicides and pesticides, high-yielding crops and the method of multiple cropping, the agriculture industry was able to produce much larger quantities of food. The crop under HYV of wheat and rice grew considerably during the Green Revolution. It also created plenty of jobs not only for agricultural workers but also industrial workers by creating related facilities such as factories and hydroelectric power stations. Now let's look at the failures of Green Revolution. Restricted to limited crops and areas such as two crops, particularly wheat and rice growing states like Punjab and Haryana, Uttar Pradesh and Andhra Pradesh, as they are the prosperous regions. Other dry areas do not have the facility of utilizing this high yield variety of seeds or the miraculous seeds. Partial removal of poverty. There is a wide gap between the rich and the poor, as only rich are affordable for the purchase of the high yield variety of seeds. The poor could not afford to buy these rich seeds and fertilizers. Neither they have the facility or privilege of more water resources, as they are still dependent on the monsoon showers. So the other failures of Green Revolution are neglected land reforms. In some areas, still the rich people are the landowners generation after generation. They are also politically and economically sound enough. Increase in income disparity between small and big farmers. As the rich farmers alone are able to buy these miraculous seeds, the poor people cannot afford due to the high price. Hence the produce produced by the rich is more and they have enough marketable surplus to be sold in the markets and make out more money. So they have high income. Ecological degradation. More usage of fertilizers and insecticides affects our ecology. Now let's discuss about industry. Role of industrial sector in India. Industrialization is important for overall growth of a country. Following points highlight the importance of industry in an economy. The first thing is it provides employment. Industries generate employment opportunities for the people. When an industry is opened in a place, it has to do many operations for which machineries, man and money is needed. Jobs like transportation, processing need laborers. Hence, employment is generated by the industry and they call for recruitment and select and train the staff. It requires skilled as well as unskilled laborers. So, it is providing employment. The next role of industry is it raises national income. When people are employed, they yield income for their family. It automatically raises the income for the family. So if every member of the family is employed, it automatically improves their standard of living and raises the economic status of them. If this happens for all the people, then it increases the per capita income, which automatically increases the national income. Thereby, our country would become a developed country. Industries promote regional balance. If industries are opened in the backward regions, we can promote employment and awareness to those people. Industries absorb the unemployed and the underemployed people from the agricultural sector, thereby increasing the income of the community. A balanced regional development is important for an overall national development. This can be achieved by the proper usage of available resources. Industries lead to modernization. The main reason for the modernization of the industries is diversification and industrial growth. This was put into place with the commencement of the second five-year plan. Also, the strategy involved a shift towards industries that produces basic materials. Economic and historical research has shown that industrialization has linked to rising education, longer lifespans, growing individual and national income, and improved overall quality of life. So let us discuss about the benefits of modernization precisely. Modernization led to greater benefits of science and technology to more and more people. This was implied in the fields of medicine, agriculture, communication, automotive and electricity for general household purpose. Spread of education is yet another positive outcome. This is all made possible because of the growth of industries only. Industries helps to modernize agriculture. Industrial sector has provided a new technological base to the agriculture. Agriculture in the developed economies is highly capital intensive, using sophisticated machinery, heavy doses of fertilizers and insecticides, and high yield variety of seeds. So industries lead to self-sustainable development. The central concept behind sustainable development is to enable the biosphere to supply environmental services to the population by means of renewable processes. It develops and implements improved processes to reduce, reuse and recycle water, raw materials, non-renewable minerals, energy, other outputs, byproducts, hazardous and non-hazardous waste and packaging. Industries promote high potential for growth. Industrialization generates employment opportunities, provides educational opportunities, encourages advancement and innovation, and better utilizes the resources. All of these benefits and more make industrial development extremely valuable to your population and the local economy. Industries are key to high volume of exports. Industries produce different kinds of goods which can help in exports. Those exports bring money into the country, which increases the exporting nation's GDP. When a country imports goods, it buys them from foreign producers. So money is spent out. We do not gain anything. The money spent on imports leaves the economy and that decreases the nation's GDP. When exports are greater, that means we are earning income. We export, we sell out to other countries and we earn income. We have a favorable balance of trade. Industries help promote growth of civilization. Industrial civilization has allowed a significant growth both in world population. Thanks to mechanized agriculture and advances in modern medicine and in the standard of living, we have improved and modernized techniques that have helped improve our style of living. Industries help change the basic structure of our economy. Industrialization provides increased employment opportunities in small and large-scale industries. In an industrial economy, industry absorbs the underemployed and unemployed workers from the agricultural sector, which increases the income of the community. Hence, the basic structure of economy is changed. Everyone starts to earn an income. Industries are a source of employment. According to the 2019, 43.21% of the workforce in India were employed in agriculture, while the other half was almost evenly distributed among the other two sectors, industry and services sector. An industry is a sector that produces goods or services within an economy. To produce goods and services, we need human labor. Thus, industries create employment opportunities. Industries impart dynamism to growth process. Industries help in the growth and change of the society from age-old techniques to modern equipment. Hence, our lifestyle has changed. We have improved a lot. For example, olden days people used to walk for longer distances to reach their destination or use bullock carts for traveling. Now we have the sophisticated methods like cars, bikes, bus, trains, flights to cover short and long distances respectively. All these were made possible only because of industrialization. Industrialization is a precondition for the final takeoff of an economy. End of part 2. Thank you. Let's meet in the next session. If you have any doubts, follow me on Instagram. Link has been given in the description box. Please follow me on Instagram and Facebook. Watch my videos regularly in YouTube at Schooling.